So coming off of the Rising Phoenix with this 5th win, it was a defining moment in my career. I was able to make adjustments and prove to myself that I still have the sauce, so to speak, to dig deeper. And I think that the lack of attention to detail last year for the Rising Phoenix and kind of offloading some responsibility for the sake of like busyness and getting all the things done and not dialing in that focus the way it could have been, it really changed me. It changed me. And it became a sit down face to face. Like you have to own it. And what are you gonna do different? Because now, as much as it sucks, it's always gonna be on the report card. But you can still move forward with a different type of strategy to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again. And so the win is just that nod of, yeah, it's still in there. You just make sure you tap in the way you're supposed to tap in. And it validated that my decision to start prep earlier, to stick to my off-season plan much more rigidly, paid off. You know what I mean? And that was something that, again, I just knew. I said, okay, this is my responsibility. I'm an athlete, and every level comes with another level of discipline. And as great as you've been, you gotta step it up. Gotta step it up. And that just means planning more things ahead of time. So as much of a planner as I am, even that had to be addressed. It's like, okay, what else could you be doing to really ensure success? So whether that's cooking even more meals in advance, freezing them, right? Like as much as I had, I call it emergency food, ready to go, how about taking it to the next level? What's wrong with having even more ready to go? Nothing. Just do it. You're already doing it, but like, again, there's that next level, that level up that takes the champion to a better champion, right? It takes that. You can go from, one of my mentors says, you have to embrace the discomfort even though you've attained a level of comfort, right? So yeah, I've gotten 5, well, at that time 4 Rising Phoenix titles, and I got comfortable, but then there was some discomfort that I needed to embrace to go to a greater level of comfort. So when you start thinking about things in those terms, it's like, okay, maybe this is a opportunity to start checking in more often and assess. Let's say at the beginning of the year and before prep starts, what is going to be the action plan for how you're gonna level up? To make sure that rather than an incident happening to make me uncomfortable, I can create my own discomfort, meaning I can hold my own self accountable to make sure that, again, nothing like that happens again. But it did. It made me look at myself really, really, really hard in the mirror and accept some things that just needed to change, some surroundings that needed to change, some people that had to be told goodbye. And, you know, there's no love lost, but this is a different chapter. And I feel as though now I've gotten a fresh gust of wind in the sails for competing again. And it feels good. It feels really good, because now I believe I've opened up some doors to have new experiences that, as I can tell from the Rising Phoenix, that's happened. And people have noticed. A good friend of mine who owns Bulletproof, his name is Ken. Ken has watched me literally from day one, amateur, And for him to come up to me after the show, and he's been to every single show, every pro show that I've done, he was there. Even my Omaha qualification, he was there. He said, "This is legit the best you've ever looked." And that, it almost got me choked up, because I was like, man, I mean, if anybody could say it, who's seen me over the years, like from the very beginning. And I told him, I was like, wow, we lost his wife, Amy. And again, they've been friends of mine for many years. But for him to say it, it was like, wow, okay. We've tapped into some new sauce, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. But again, I think that twice a year, it would be beneficial to just kind of check in with myself about, you know, what the off season needs to look like, and talk that over with my coach. And then, you know, again, once prep is, you know, about to start, what does that look like? What are the things that need to be required for me to level up? And I've started keeping a separate like prep journal as some friendly reminders to look back and say, okay, I did these things. Now I need to evaluate, assess, and what else can I do to make these things better? Or what else can I add to make, you know, the next, you know, win better? So yeah, feeling good though. But I can't bask in that. Still got work to do. All right, so how did stepping on stage at the Rising Phoenix set the tone for the Olympia prep? So stepping on stage at the Rising Phoenix this year was the effort that was required and needed, but I think that I knew that I was going to have a level of excitement, refreshing excitement going into the Olympia prep. Because last year was not exciting. I was motivated and driven, but I was not excited. And this year I actually am feeling really excited. And again, we implemented some new things with, you know, not just exercises, but different technologies, different peptides. I'm brand new to peptides. I had never even explored them. So these are things that now I'm like, wow, these elements, and having them now culminate into that moment of being on stage, it's like, oh, okay, now I have the opportunity to deliver a stellar package at the Olympia. Like, and now my mind is like, you know, as good as I know I was at the Rising Phoenix, making it better for the Olympia, that is exciting. Like and it's driving me. It's literally driving me. I'm excited about that because, again, I have an opportunity to make it better. And I think that there's something to be said when the judges can look at you and say, you know, you just keep getting better. And I want to hear them say that. I know that they've told me, but again, I want this to be no exception. I want them to continue to say, like, just when we thought you couldn't, wow, I want that. And that's something that, you know, is in a few short weeks, yeah, God willing, gonna be something that I hear. So I'm excited. What is my mindset being on this journey of embarking upon my 6th consecutive Miss Olympia win now that the Rising Phoenix is complete? The biggest thing that's gone through my mind probably over the last few days, I mean, because the Rising Phoenix was just a couple days ago, a week ago and a day, or just under a week rather, level up. That's the number one thing, is to get back to work. I enjoyed, you know, some yummy treats, very clean, but still, I have to set the Rising Phoenix win aside in my mind and think about it as the foundation or the starting point for the Olympia prep. As crazy as it may sound, I know people are like, oh, but you gotta appreciate the win, especially considering what happened last year. That's great, but I can't go there. I like mentally, I can't go there because I don't want to get comfortable. I don't want to say, oh, well, I did such a good job. No, you got more work to do. You got more work to do, and now you got to dial in the focus, and we only have so many days to get it done. I got 21 days from today to get it done, and I mean, I have to bring it. And I will, but I have to apply that pressure And it's not that I don't know that people mean well, right? You nailed it. You look great, and I thank you. I appreciate that. That was my job. That was what I was supposed to do. But now I gotta bring it. And there's nothing else more important now than taking that foundation from the Rising Phoenix and using that as the catalyst to go all in on the things that I know I can do to control the outcome for the 6th Miss Olympia win. Consecutive. And it makes me excited because like I want that. I want to hear that and see, Jim come out with the trophy and the medal and put it around my neck, and they give me the crown, and still, I mean, you take your mind there, and you should want to visualize it because it's a motivating factor. But again, I gotta work. I gotta get to work. I gotta check every single box every single day, and I have to make sure I'm doing the things. So there's pressure, a lot of it. How do I handle the pressure of not just competing, but defending the titles year after year? It's my job. It's my job. It's what I believe in my heart that God has given me to do. It's what I prayed for. So I have to apply the corresponding actions that are required, and I think I look at the pressure as sandpaper. It can only refine me. So to that point, I mentioned to you earlier that, I'm going off social media at a certain point. And I stepped away a little bit from as much social media interaction leading into the Rising Phoenix. The pressure, when you start thinking about the things that matter, and the sandpaper of that pressure means I have to wear away or cut away the things that aren't relevant to that goal, to that task. So there's been a lot of people who haven't gotten a whole lot of interaction with text messages. I'm not talking on the phone much. Every single ounce of energy needs to be put in the right place. So during this final stretch, what is motivating me the most leading into my 6th consecutive Miss Olympia win? I do feel as though, in a deeper sense, that all of those things, it is about building a legacy, dealing with that nagging feeling of there's more. It's not that I didn't love my job. It's not that I didn't appreciate my job. I really did, but I just felt caged in. And I reflect on that. And I remember the days where Mel Robbins in 2020, she released this, it was kind of like a kickoff to the year activity where she was walking us through, your best year. And every night I would write down, I want to travel the world and promote bodybuilding. I want to win the Miss Olympia. I want to be, the ultimate GOAT. And when you start thinking about that, like it holds a deeper meaning. And it's like that opportunity it's here. This is what I prayed for. This is what I asked for. You got to be ready to do what's required. And, that definitely drives me. And I think about, what do I want to teach my children? One day when I decide to have kids, what is our family, mantra? What do we stand for? We stand for commitment, dedication, integrity, right? Doing the hard work that's required for you to be the best you. So it matters. And, honoring God with the gifts that you've been given. Those are the things when you really look back, right? If you know that you've done those things, it gives you a sense of peace that you've done exactly what you know you should have done. And, you treated people well, but you prayed for something, God answered, and you did what you were supposed to do with it. So yeah, to that end, that definitely pushes me a lot. And you know, what else are you gonna do? You think about that, it's like, okay, it matters that much, right? This is what you wanted. This is what you prayed for, and this is what brings me great joy. What else you gonna be doing? I wanna do this. I wanna do this. It brings me a lot of happiness. And the people I get to interact with, speak with, encourage across the world, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. Like, it's so much. And one thing that the owner of Mutant says, I don't ever want it to end. I'm like, me neither. Me neither, Jim. But you know, we do what is, again, required to make sure that we are fulfilling the purpose in which we believe God has called us to. Yeah. So have there been any training adjustments as I'm zeroing in now for the Olympia prep? There are not any adjustments with the training, but subject to change based on what Damien decides. So, I mean, Damien's very methodical with how he likes to approach things. The closer we get, he starts to just evaluate and look at me on a daily basis. Right now, it's a couple of days a week where, you know, all right, yep, stick with this, stick with that. And then if he wants to do something different, then it's usually surprise to me. So we had a couple of new back exercises. I shouldn't say new, but revisited back exercises that we haven't done in a while. Actually, we haven't really done since I've been here, but we've done during my last prep. But I know he's very methodical. So I got the feeling he looked at the stage photos from the Rising Phoenix and decided, you know, yep, we're bringing this back. So again, I leave that to coach. I can do like the little touch-up work. So I'll always have a little extra credit work that I'll do kind of like on the side, but I just leave the adjustments to him. That way I don't have to really think about it. I feel like the easier I can make it on myself, I can focus in on the really important stuff, like making sure the posing's good, making sure the diet's right, or the food is prepped. It just makes it a lot easier and focus on the recovery aspects. I did my check-ins yesterday, so I'm gonna let him decide. And you know, he always let me know, usually the day of, like, all right, kiddo, we're headed over here. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So now that we are embarking on Olympia prep, are there any changes to the diet? The diet's been really consistent. The one thing that I do notice about Damien is like, things are very, very consistent. There are not many changes. I was actually kind of shocked leading into the Rising Phoenix. I brought all of these different things that I've used before, and I'm like, are we having any of that? No. Are we having any of this? No. And I was like, so I'm pretty much just eating this and this, right? Yep. I'm like, how about this? Nope. I'm like, I brought way too much stuff. Which again, it is nice because then I can simplify, right? So, I mean, I pretty much just boxed all that stuff up and sent it home. I was like, you know, it just makes no sense for me to even, yeah. But again, I appreciate the simplicity, because that way, again, that's fewer things on my list that need to be checked off, right? I can just keep it simple. And cooking or preparing my food leading into the Rising Phoenix was that much easier too, right? I had, you know, just a few items on the list, cooked them in surplus, froze half, ate off the other half leading into the show. I mean, when I got there, I had plenty of food. Simple, it was very easy. So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying that part, the consistency. Yeah, something that I feel as though when I look at how my posing coach, Sid Gillen, has been able to do what she's done 8 times, right? Like, she's won the figure Miss Olympia 8 times. This is why. This is why, because there's a certain level of consistency that is applied both during the improvement season and during the prep, leading up right up until on stage. So yeah, I like that part. Structures is everything. So what do I do to make sure that I don't have any burnout, so that I can still push enough to reach peak performance getting to show day, like in times past? I've learned that at a certain point, you do need to back away from giving a certain level of intensity. When you start thinking about the decrease in calories, right, you really only have so much energy to output, which means that you need to be smarter about how you move, right? And then sleep. You need to be rested. I can't probably preach that enough. You need to be rested. And I remember, I mean, I've had some, well, one Olympia in particular. I mean, I went into it with 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, sleep is something that, you know, is so important. So leading into the Rising Phoenix, I rested my way into it. So I think that is, I would admonish it's something that I would admonish any competitor to do, especially at the pro level, especially if your ambition is to reach an Olympia. Give your body a little extra rest. You've really done all the work. You've done all the work, right? I mean, aside from maybe a little touch up with your posing, right? Maybe some light pump workouts. You don't need to be drilling yourself into the ground. Yes, you can. Should you? Right? So like, yeah, I like to really place a great emphasis on rest, recovery, and sleep. And I think that gives you a refreshed look, feeling, and physique overall going into a show. When I think about standing on the Olympia stage again, the biggest emotion that comes to mind, joy. Joy. I absolutely love being on that stage. Because it's something that during my amateur days, I would watch the NPC News Online videos, and they would do, you know, Olympia backstage women's physique, Olympia backstage figure, and I would watch it over and over and over and over again. During cardio, on my way to the gym, I had the phone holstered up and I'm watching these videos. I still have the playlist saved in my phone under my YouTube account. And it's just all of that culminating into, you know, that moment where I prayed for it, I believed for it, worked for it, and, you know, now it's here. And, you know, I always just sit in the gratitude of, you know, thank God that, you know, He answered my prayer. I sacrificed a lot. And it was something that some people who were even close, when I told them, you know, some people just don't believe. And that's okay. It hurt in the moment, but doesn't matter. You know, it still came. And again, it's joyous to me because I had that in my heart. And I still have it in my heart every year that I like, enjoy, love being on that Olympia stage. There's no brighter lights. There's no crowd that's more energetic. I mean, literally, like, it's one of the best feelings of my life.
That's what we're getting to.
Wait. So excited. So if and when I secure my 6th Miss Olympia win, what do I hope that says about me, not just as an athlete, but as a woman? I would have to say that when people look at that, evaluate that, or consider that, you know, who Andrea is outside of the athlete, she's definitely committed. She's gonna show up, and she's committed. Once she commits, she is fully committed. And you know, that means a lot. That means a lot, because in a world where some people don't value commitment, not saying that you're always going to nail it 100%, right? There are some things along the way, because the path is for some people it can be straight, but that's not for most. You're going to have these moments of course correction along the way, like, oh, you maybe your timing was off here, maybe you had to tell somebody, hey, give me an extra day to get back with you, or you know, just give me, right? There's these little course corrections along the way, but you're still making progress. You're still moving forward. And I think that is something that people, when they look at who Andrea is outside of being an athlete, when she's a friend, when she's, you know, a big sister, a mentor, she's committed. She's committed. And again, the way you show up for yourself says a lot about that. And I think that, like I said, when you start to course correct, one thing that I hold more dearly now is don't rely more or too much on other people. Everybody's here to be a help, but hold yourself to the higher standard first, right? Do the part that you know you should do to honor yourself first. Commitment to you, strong commitment to you, makes your commitment to everyone else that much easier. So everything needs to start within the self. But I think that that's what people will definitely say about Andrea when they look at who she is outside of being an athlete. Very committed to doing good things.